Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Baha Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yaki and pushing his word and truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, this is Amathia from the GMS Dallas camp. All right, and wanted to go into a quick lesson. As you see on the sign on the screen, it says mediator. Now I'm going to play this and we're going to listen to what a mediator is, and we're going to distinguish who is our mediator, all right, for the nation of Israel to the Most High, which is the Most High's name is Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, which is his true biblical name, meaning he is, all right. And his son's name is Yahweh Shai, the only begotten son, all right. That is our big brother, okay, who is the world ignorantly calls Jesus, all right. Now, when you just only Torah only, you got to realize we need a mediator to actually get to the Most High. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this, and Lord willing, this will be edifying.
Mediator. One who negotiates between parties seeking mutual agreement. Mediator synonyms: negotiator. Mediator.
That's it. Mediator. All right, and this is what we need. We need a mediator to actually receive salvation because we've done so much. The Lord is slow to anger. The scriptures say he's slow to anger, but yet he was so fed up that he had to bring forth Yahweh Shai to come and deliver us. Now that's only fact. Now and then he is come throughout the book, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get this here real quick, get the scripture. All right. And you gotta understand when you look at the covenants, the Lord said he was gonna bring forth two covenants. All right. And when you bring forth those two covenants, you actually go forth and you will see that the Lord, to get to that second covenant, we needed a bridge. We needed someone to connect us to the Most High. All right. So before I get that, I want to go ahead and get, I could just went over a little further on that. What do I want? Okay, I was in the right chapter. This is Hebrews 10. All right. It says, verse 5, it says, wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offerings thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me. And burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hast no pleasure. Then so I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me, to do thy will, O power. Now this is going into who? This is the one who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. His true biblical name is Yahweh Shai. He comes in the volume of the book. All right. He was there when the beginning of creation. He was the first creation. So when you look at it, you got to look at these covenants. So the first covenant comes from who? It comes with that was established through Moses. Okay. All right. But you got to think it was heavenly. Okay. It was a heavenly covenant that was established from the foundation of the earth. And this is what Yahweh Shai reached all the way back and extended to. But if we look here, we want to establish those two covenants. This is, all right, Hebrews 8. And I think the point is in 13, but I'm going to start at 7. It says Hebrews 8 and 7. It says, for if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. All right, so what's that first covenant is the what? It's Aaron through the line of Aaron and his sons. All right, so it went through That was the Levitical priesthood. So that Levitical priesthood came about during the time of Moses. And you got to think, even when Moses was on here upon earth, like say on the scene, he was what? He was the mediator for the children of Israel to the Most High. You got to remember when when they spoke to when they said, "Hey, we want to speak to the Lord," ourselves, the children of Israel did that. What did Moses do? All right, he gave them the process to be clean, and then when the Lord started to speak, they feared. The mountain started trembling. All right. And they feared, and they said, "Hey, you see the rocks about to fall?" They the one. He said, "Hey, well, you can be our mediator," and that's what we're saying. The Lord, Yahweh Shai came back to continue as that mediator. All right, to continue that second covenant. All right. So verse 8, Hebrews 8 and 8, it says, "For finding fault with them," okay, with the covenant that was established from the priest of Aaron and his sons, okay, because like I say, that is the Lord, the mouthpiece of the Lord is what is the priest, okay. So during that time it was, and Yahweh Shai came, and we know he sprung about the line of Judah, as it says in Hebrews 7. So we know that we was going to come out as what? Kings and priests. That extends all the way back to the order of Melchizedek of being kings and priests. All right, but let's keep going. All right, so we know this is talking about the Levitical priesthood. All right, it says, "For the finding fault with them was saying, Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant." All right, that new covenant, because the old covenant, we couldn't keep it. Every time we, through this flesh, we just couldn't keep it. I mean, we would constantly go off, constantly have to, we would rebel, we would pray. The Lord would, you know, give us that forgiveness, and then go right back off. All right, because we're in these carnal bodies, which is understand. This is the story is written before the foundations of the earth. Okay, this is a story from the Most High, Yahweh, and He's watching it play out. Okay, our forefathers have seen things happen. They have seen the end. All right, you have Ezra, okay, Isaiah, Daniel, all these, and so on. They have seen the end. So this movie has been played, but now we're going through it. So the Lord already knew this first covenant wasn't gonna. It was gonna basically run to a certain point, and then another negotiator would come and have to be established. Okay, so we had Moses, and now we have another one. So here we go. All right, it says verse. It says back in the middle of verse 8, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. All right. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand and led them out of the land of Egypt. All right. So this is what? This is talking about Moses. This is not according to this covenant. Well, he's talking about with Moses. All right. And ancient Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahweh, the same thing that we receive now. Now these dry bones, as it says in Ezekiel, all right, 37 is starting to wake back up and come up, and we're starting to make flesh and starting to understand who we are. We do know who we are. Let me rephrase that, okay? But this is being established for the new covenant, all right? Now we have modern day Sodom and Egypt here in Babylon the Great, aka America. So we had ancient Egypt, and now a mediator that's going to help us get delivered out of modern day Egypt. So verse 10, "For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel for those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be there a power, and they shall be to me a people." All right. And we're going to just keep going. It says, "For this is the covenant that I will," all right, we just read that, verse 11, "And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, but every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for for Yahweh, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness and their sins and their iniquities, and I remember no more." And that he saith a new covenant he has made the first old, now that which decayeth and waxes old is ready to vanish away. And these carnal bodies are going to decay and wax old. But like he said, he's going to put the laws on our inward parts. All right. And the same thing was said in Jeremiah 31. Okay. So this is showing that a new covenant will be established. To get to receive the first covenant, it was through what? A mediator. All right. And the Lord established a covenant with Moses. All right. And then he came and he sprinkled the nation of Israel. We had the sprinkling of the blood. That's in Exodus around the 24th verse. Chapter 24. And from there, Moses was the mediator, right? So we look here and he said he was going to establish basically a new covenant, right? Because we have done so much, all right, that we do need Yahweh Shai, okay? And he went up and sat on the right side of the Lord, okay? So we established that we need we had a mediator for the old covenant. We got a new covenant, right? That's being established. So we need a mediator for the new covenant, right? That would be only right. So let's go here. That's what did I want here? I wanted Amos because the Lord said he was sick of our feast days. All right, let me see here. Bear with me. All right, this is Amos 5, and I want to see. Lord, oh no, Shalak here. Uh, I don't know how you would say how that brain fart. What I'm thinking about. It's in Amos 5. When it goes into right in my face, Salakia. All right, this so that's spirit. I just wanted to keep on looking, make sure like I say, went blank for a second. I guess, but call all y'all Bashim Yahweh Shai. Got me on back on track. So it says in verse 5:21. It says, I despise your feast days and will not smell your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard a peace offering for your fat beast. Okay, so the Lord, he basically said he's tired of us because what we do, we bring and like I say, we bring and set up sacrifices and had turtle doves ready to go because we know we were about to go off. Have broken wings and broken legs on our sacrifices. This is something that is basically a disgrace. So the Lord said he was fed up. All right. It says, verse 23, take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. Okay. But let judgment run down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. So the Lord said, let judgment come down. They said it was sick to the feast days. You got to look at the holidays here in Babylon and things like that. You have, um, especially, like you said, you think about it, you OTOs or, you Old Testament only. How he hated Israel for following the ways of the wicked. He even tell you that in Jeremiah 10. Okay, learn not the way of the heathen. Don't be dismayed at what's going on. But then as we got the foul being born, the majority of us grew up in of that folly and these wicked holidays such as like Christmas and Thanksgiving, these things, you know. So we fell short of the glory. We all are filthy rags, but yet You feel like we still have a direct connection with the Most High, and like I say, back even in the days of Moses, they needed someone to have. They needed a mediator, and you don't think we need a mediator now? As we on wax worse and worse throughout time, we have our holidays. We have worked learned about our the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Going from the Passover, with its first fruit in the Feast of Tabernacle. These different holidays. Hanukkah, the Feast of Dedication. These different days. So we have strayed away from our ways of being the nation of Israel, our law, statute, commandments, our feasts, our holidays, these correct sacrifices that we're supposed to lay our treasures up in heavens for. We're not given that same vibration now because we're living in a wicked world. Okay, living in the hands of the world, which was living in a world that was given into the hands of the wicked. Okay, we pursue that to Job 9:24. All right. So with that, we say we need a mediator. Okay. And as we said here, what is a mediator? Let's go back here. One who negotiates between parties seeking mutual agreement. Okay. I think there was a more here. Negotiator. All right.
Negotiates between parties.
So this is what we need. And who is our mediator? That it will be Yahweh Shai. So when you think that hey, we're gonna just stick with the Most High, we're gonna go ahead and go through and make it through that straight gate. No, wrong again. All right. This is let's see. Hold up, Slocky. Let me get Hebrews. Oh shoot. Because you need that. Because when we said we were gonna bring out that new covenant, I'm gonna get Hebrews first. Hebrews 12, and like I said, we went that old covenant. We was going off, so we had to get what establish a new covenant. Let's go ahead and establish that. This is Hebrews 12:24. It says, all right, it says unto Yahweh Shai, the mediator of the new covenant. Now I know you can say, oh, y'all going into the New Testament. Let's bear with me. And Yahweh Shai, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. All right. So this is the sprinkling of Yahweh Shai. How do we when he had him and his disciples, and he gave the bread? Okay, he gave the wine. They didn't get the understanding. Talking about this is my flesh, this is my blood, and they didn't get the understanding. Okay, so the Lord was like, this is feasting with you because I'm going to walk this perfect walk and go through this heartache and this the chastisement for you. He went through on the cross and died for us, for the elect. Okay, he became a mediator of what? The new covenant. All right, and that's Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? And I wanted to get I think it's in First Timothy, or you know what? I can figure it out right here because I know we got Romans 9:15. Uh, this one I wanted. First Timothy. I wanted First Timothy 2:5. All right. And I want to start, get kind of to the point. It says, verse 4, it says, who will have all men to be saved and to come to knowledge of the truth? For some is one power and one mediator between Yahweh and men. Okay, it's one power, that's Yahweh, and one mediator between the Most High and men, and that's Yahweh and men. That man, Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Okay, verse 6, who gave himself a ransom for all. Okay, he gave up, he was a ransom for us, and we didn't, and we wasn't worthy to be testified in due time. In due time, and the time is now that we're seeing. All right. And the Lord was always spoke about in the Old Testament, getting that preparation, letting them know that the Lord was going to come and come into what, the nation of Israel, and deliver us. Right now, like this is just 2 Samuel 7, because you read in that establishment of what, the king, the throne of David, that establishment through the line of David. You can read that in Romans 1. This is 2 Samuel 7 verse 12. It says, and when the days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers. All right. And this is, like you say, 2 Samuel 7. And it says, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. And he shall build a house for thy name. And now this is going into King David, and basically his seed going into what? You would say, hey, that's going into Abraham. I mean, not Abraham, Salakia. Um, it's going into Solomon, right? That what you will see when you first read that. Now, verse 13 is that he shall build a house for my name. Okay, and who did that? You would say, oh, that's King Solomon. He built his house. All right, but it says, and I will establish the throne for his kingdom forever. Now that is right there a stumbling block, because like you said, he's going to establish the kingdom forever. Was King Solomon kingdom established forever? No. The kingdom was divided after King Solomon to the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. All right. 10 tribes in the north, 12 in the west. But like you say, Levi, he was amongst the northern and the southern. So that's why when you say still you had the two for the southern kingdom, you still have to include Levi. So that would be Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, in the southern kingdom. But you see that, right? I just was just trying to go through and find some scriptures, to show the establishment that the Lord established. And that's one thing showing the throne of David, which will be established on in the end times. Okay, and who's going to reign governor? We go into Isaiah 9:6. He said the Lord will be reigning as the governor. All right, and this is going to be established. Isaiah 9:6, for unto us a child is born, for unto us is given, a son is given, and the governor shall uphold and the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of all his government, the peace, there shall be no end unto the throne of David. There shall be no end unto the throne of David. There should be no end unto the throne of David. Now, when you say there should be no end, we got to go back to what we just read earlier, right? 2 Samuel 7. All right, it said it would be basically his kingdom would reign forever. This is not talking about King Solomon. This is not talking about Moses. This is talking about Yahweh Shai. Keep going. To order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth forever and ever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this. All right. So you can't get around this right here. You just can't get around it. How can you get around it? There's no way around it. The nation of Israel, the elect, need a mediator to be delivered out of Jacob's trouble, to be delivered out of destruction that is coming upon Babylon the Great and upon the earth. But it's going to be Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed. America is going to be destroyed without end. It's going to be laid to waste. But who's going to establish that? It's going to be established and bring forth through the Father Chariot, and who's going to be on there? Yahweh Shai. All right. Now, before we go ahead and head out, I wanted to get some real quick. Now, the priest, not I believe it was priest, but not he brought out this guy was bringing out Isaiah 53. He was talking about Moses, right? I believe it's around. Yeah, he said it was going to Moses. All right. Now, when you look at Isaiah 53, it says, let's just start through here. It says, "Who has believed our report, and who has, and whom is the arm of the Lord revealed?" All right. And who is the right arm, right hand side? Yahweh Shai. For he shall grow up before him in tender plant and as a root out of a dry ground. Okay. And I don't think Moses, he came out of who? He was raised in he was raised in Pharaoh's house, and he was in a river, so everything about him was, you know what I'm saying, was wet or was it wasn't nothing about Moses dry growing up. You know what I'm saying? That's put it as that. He has no form of no comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire of him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow and acquitted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised and was not him, and esteemed him not. Now, was Moses rejected? Only ones we've seen that was kind of rejected him when he killed the guards, and it was never. It was just the two guys that was fighting that was talking junk, right? Verse 4: Surely has borne our grief and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted. Now, when you look and do the understanding of what happened to Yahweh Shai, which is documented throughout history, you understand that sounds like Yahweh Shai that was basically smitten, beaten, chastised, thorns, a crown on his head. You know what I'm saying? While his mother, his disciples, everybody watched. His followers all watched. All right. So this is, this ain't going into Moses. This is going into Yahweh Shai. Okay. So that new covenant is going to be established, like I said, through Yahweh Shai, right? For the first covenant being found fault, right? So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. Hey, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Yakim, pushing his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.